Good morning. Very warm welcome to everyone. So I hope I'm audible to all of you. Can you please say yes in the chat box if I'm audible to you? Thank you very much. Are you able to see the screen which I'm sharing? Please tell yes if you can see the screen. Okay. I would request everyone to mute your mic so that there will be no noise. I would like to, give an elaborate lecture about the syllabus and the trends and the strategies which we are going to discuss, right? I request everyone, if you have any doubts, please put it up in the chat box. Meanwhile, right? So I'll try to answer all of them at the end of the session. Before anything, I'll take you through the syllabus, complete syllabus and the strategy we need to follow for UPSC, right? And we'll try to understand what are the different trends at the present times. So my name is Sivanath. I'll be dealing Indian economy for you students in KSR IAS Academy. So I have a vast experience of 8 years in dealing UPSC civil services subjects. I'll be dealing Indian economy for you batch, right? So do you want me to tell in, do you want me to teach in Telugu also? If any Telugu students are also there, please tell me Telugu. Please type Telugu in the chat box so that I can also deliberate my lecture in both the languages. So if someone in the students wanted me to tell in Telugu also or use mixed language, please type that in the chat box. Next. Is my voice clear? Someone is saying that my voice is breaking. Is my voice is clear? Please type yes, if so. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Fine. So we'll be trying to understand the syllabus of Indian economy and what are the different previous questions, and we'll try to understand the trends and how to crack this particular, examination and how to get good marks in preliminary examination, especially in Indian economy, right? So we'll get into the syllabus directly, not wasting any time further. So syllabus is curated by KSR IAS Academy. Though you know that UPSC gave a vague syllabus, we have given a detailed syllabus and we are working on detailed syllabus every other year. Every year we'll try to follow the trends and we'll try to, add up a few points to the syllabus so that student will be comfortable, right? The first unit of the syllabus is growth and development. So before getting into this, we'll try to understand what is economy. What is economy? What is economics? What is the difference between economics and economy? You have to understand that in UPSC examination, you don't have economics, you have economy. Economics are, to be simple, I'll try to simplify things because it's a demonstration class. So economics is all about theory. You'll be learning more about theories. For example, it might be microeconomic theory or macroeconomic theory, like saving. So మీకు తెలుసు కదా సేవింగ్ అనేది తెలుసు కదా సేవింగ్ అనేది ఒక థియరీ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ అనేది ఒక థియరీ దేర్ ఆర్ మెనీ economical theories or economical scientists who will present different theories about that. So we'll not be getting into those economical theories here. You just have to understand the difference between economics and economy. Most of you will be having idea that for UPSC we have economics. No, it is not economics, it is economy, right? When we talk about economics is theory. And when we talk about economy is economics in play, right? Economy is economics in play, which means that in practice. So for example, you have your family economy. You have your savings, you have your revenues, you have expenditure, you have your taxation, everything. So when you take individual self, when you take family, you have economy. Similarly, you can also talk about economy for state, any political boundary, right? For state, for a country. Here, our focus mostly is on Indian economy, although we'll step into some state economies and we will also step into some Sometimes we will also step into international economy, right? So the first question is economy and economics. I hope you identified the difference between economy and economics, right? So I'll try to repeat it again in simple. Economy is economics in play, right? For individuals, we'll have economy. For families, we have economy. For states, we have economy. States, I mean, Andhra Pradesh state, Karnataka state, right? I'm not talking about political state. Similarly, when we talk about Indian economy, so in syllabus, we have Indian economy. I hope you understand. So apart from Indian economy, sometimes we will also get into some state economies to understand some schemes, some policies, and also we'll try to understand international economy. This is the horizon for UPSC civil services examination, and you have to understand it would be very easy for mains examination and it would be moderate for preliminary examination. So most of the students will be thinking that economy is a difficult subject for you in UPSC civil services, and it is my duty to make, it is my duty to simplify things for you and make it easy for you, right? So you just have to follow me so that it will be simple for you. I hope it is clear. Are you able to understand the difference between economics and economy? If yes, please type yes. You able to understand the difference between economics and economy? I'll try to be little interactive, right? I hope you understand, right? So now though we understood that the syllabus is Indian economy. So now Indian economy, how do we measure Indian economy? The way you have your revenues. For example, if I ask you what is your income, what do you say? So your salary income, your rental income, any income, you will say your income. Similarly, a nation will also have an income, right? So when you talk about personal income, it is individual level. When you talk about family income, it is family level. When we talk about state level, state income. When we talk about national level, it is national income. So you have to see that we are talking about national income. It is very important parameter. Say, if you have a salary of 1 lakh, 1 లక్ష రూపాయలు మీకు జీతం ఉన్నట్లయితే రేపు సంవత్సరము మీకు 1,20,000 జీతం పెరిగింది అనుకోండి, ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్ పెరిగినట్లు? 20% మీ శాలరీ పెరిగినట్లు కదా. సో సిమిలర్లీ నేషనల్ ఎకానమీని కూడా మనము నేషనల్ ఇన్కమ్ అనే ఒక పారామీటర్ తీసుకొని విల్ ట్రై టు మెజర్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఇన్కమ్ ఆఫ్ ద నేషన్ అండ్ విల్ ట్రై టు కంపేర్ ఇట్ విత్ అదర్ నేషన్స్. సార్ యుఎస్ఏ ఎంత ఉంది, కెన్యా ఎంత ఉంది, జపాన్ ఎంత ఉంది, చైనీస్ ఎంత ఉంది, మన స్టేట్ ఏంటి, వేర్ వీఆర్ స్టాండింగ్ బిట్వీన్ దెమ్. So this is the quantitative parameter. So mostly it is quantitative parameter. National income is a broad concept we are talking about. It is quantitative parameter. I hope you understood, right? So when we talk about economic growth in India, so what was India last year? What was India last year and what it is now? So let's say that last year the GDP size is 2 trillion and now the GDP is increasing to 2.2 trillion, which means 10% growth is there. I hope you understand little mathematics. 2 trillion unindi, 2.2 trillion ayindi, 10% growth unnatlu kada, right? That is what we talk about economic growth. And you have to understand this is quantitative parameter. This is completely quantitative parameter. Here we'll try to understand different manifestations of economy and different calculations and parameters of economy. See, there are different instruments through which we calculate economy, national income. There are different instruments through which we calculate national income. One is GDP, one is GNP, one is NDP and NNP. So these are the different instruments. I just wanted to say, I don't want to get into details of those instruments, but I'll tell you one thing. Economy, especially world economy, manifested from growth to development to sustainable development. So you have to understand the phases. First phase is growth. I'll tell you 3 phases, 3 basic phases, which I'll tell you. You have to understand that. One is growth, the second one is development, third one is sustainable development, right? Initially, when economic theories were trying to calculate national income, they were calculating through growth. What is growth? Growth is just a quantitative phenomenon. So if I tell you this way, you'll not understand. I'll ask you a question, whether United States of America is rich or India is rich. You'll be able to answer that. United States of America is rich, right? Because these are quantitative parameters. Now, if I ask you a question, whether United States of America is developed or Dubai is developed, United Arab Emirates is developed, When you talk about development, when you talk about growth, we are talking about quantitative phenomenon. When we're talking about development, we are talking about qualitative phenomenon. For example, women are not being respected in Dubai. So women have less rights in Dubai. I mean, United Arab Emirates. Any other Gulf countries, we have less rights for women. So we consider women rights also development parameter, a qualitative parameter. You need to understand that. So in that way, economic theories, brought economy. I mean, they brought more innovative instruments so that they can calculate the economic growth and development of a particular country. So these are the basic concepts around which this particular topic is revolving. Yeah. Redmi 8A, can you please post your question here? I see you raised a hand. Can you please post your question here? Can you unmute yourself and post your question? R. Pravina. Hello. Okay. So do anyone have any doubts? Can you please say yes if you have any doubts and raise your doubts in the chat box? I hope no doubts, right? I'll just go forward. Am I audible to everyone? Can you please say yes? Are we able to follow? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So these are the basic concepts which we talk about. Economic growth, economic development. This is the basic topic through which we try to quantify a particular country's status between the countries, right? So you need a comparative parameter. So these are the different instruments through which we can do that. So economic growth through few instruments, and economic growth versus development. Development also, for development also, there are few instruments. We'll try to understand what is the instrument. Instrument is nothing but a mathematical formula. You don't have to worry about what is instrument. Instrument is just a mathematical formula. In economy, for example, a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab. This is one instrument, right? We use that as instrument to calculate a particular parameter, right? So this is all about mathematics, statistics in Indian economy, right? Indian economy is more of statistics, numbers, and you don't have to worry because you have to remember so many numbers. It will be more factual. No, you don't have to worry about, because I'll make it easy for you. I'll try to teach you what is theory, and I'll try to bring what is important for your examination, what is practical. I'll try to take you through different reports also, right? So these are the basic concepts through which we cover this particular topic. So the first chapter will be growth, development, and sustainable development. These are the different topics we see, and we try to see what are the different instruments through which we calculate them, and we'll try to remember some numbers, right? So we'll just go forward. I hope you understood this particular topic. So when we understand theory, when we understand formulas, when we understand the theory, when we understand the formulas, the only theory is, right, what is economic growth, what is development, we'll understand theory, and we'll try to understand few formulas, then we'll try to get back into reality. So this is where we at KSR IAS Academy is specialized. So you have to understand that we take you through every single report which is important for your examination, and it is not just mere giving numbers. I'll try to tell you where you will get these reports. These are the important resources which you need to utilize for your examination. After all, after completing the theory, it is important that you put your you bring all these reports and put your preparation to practice, right? So ఇక్కడ చూసినట్లయితే మనకు ప్రెస్ నోట్ ఆన్ సెకండ్ అడ్వాన్స్ ఎస్టిమేట్స్ ఆఫ్ నేషనల్ ఇన్కమ్. సో ప్రెస్ నోట్స్ వస్తాయి అనమాట. విల్ ట్రై టు డౌన్లోడ్ ఫ్యూ ప్రెస్ నోట్స్. ఐ విల్ ట్రై టు షో యూ వేర్ యూ నీడ్ టు డౌన్లోడ్ ప్రెస్ నోట్స్ అండ్ స్టాటిస్టికల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, రైట్? సో ఈ ప్రెస్ నోట్స్ లోంచి నేషనల్ ఇన్కమ్ ఈ ఇయర్ ఎంత ఉంది, ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ ఎంత ఉంది, అడ్వాన్స్డ్ ఎస్టిమేట్స్ అంటే ఏంటి, రివైజ్డ్ ఎస్టిమేట్స్ అంటే ఏంటి, విల్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్. It is very easy. You don't have to get confused. So the moment you complete theory and the moment you understand what is happening in practice, and you'll come to reality. There we end up that particular unit. So first we'll complete theory, then we'll get it, then we'll take you through the practice, then we'll end up that particular chapter. So with this, what you can do after completing theory, maybe this year, maybe next year, or maybe another year, you'll be able to gather all those reports and update yourself with the information. Understand that Indian economy is mostly about updates, right? You need to be updated. So we were talking about quarter 2021. I'm just showing you how we do this, right? Next. So this is how the tables look. So what is GVA, gross value added? We'll try to see what are the net taxes, what is GDP, what is NDP. So all these parameters we'll try to see. So by taking you through these reports, you'll be able to understand, acha, so what are taxes? So what is inflation also you will understand. What is real GDP? What is nominal GDP? All those parameters you will try to understand, right? So next one, next chapter, very important chapter. For understanding a particular nation's economy, you always need to go through the history of that particular economy. So for example, if you wanted to understand the Indian economy, you always have to go back to maybe 1850s and come back from 1850s to 1947 at one stage and 1947 to till date at the stage. So we will try to modulate this particular chapter into different phases. Maybe we can call it as pre-independence and post-independence. And post-independence also we can divide it in between LPG, before LPG and after LPG. Most of you students know what is LPG, right? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So now why economic history is very important? Why economic history is important? For this, you need to go back to basic question called resources. What is a resource? So why do we have governments? Why do we calculate all these numbers? Do we need all these numbers? Do we need to know what are these numbers? Do we need to understand what are the changes in the percentages? Then comes the question, resources. What is a resource? What is a resource is the question. You can divide them into natural resources, artificial resources, anyway. So you elected a government. That government is responsible to the people, right? So what do these governments do? So for these governments, there are different resources at their disposal. Maybe financial resources, maybe natural resources, maybe artificial resources, or can be human resources. We human resources. All these resources should be optimally utilized by the nation and bring productivity into the system, right? We'll try to understand. I'll take you through the basics. I'll take you through 6th class and 7th class textbooks and bring some pictures from that and try to remind you. Already most of you know what it is, and I'll try to remind you what are resources and try to start from there. I'll try to build from there, right? So the moment you have resources, let's say I have a car, I have a house, I have 4 bikes. Let's say that I need to manage these resources. How do I manage these resources? I need to plan. I need to plan for a month. I need to plan for a year, plan for 5 years. So this is how Indian economy. Maybe we'll try to understand what is capitalism, socialism in this particular chapter. I'll try to give you basics there. అక్కడ తర్వాత అది నేర్చుకున్న తర్వాత we'll try to understand what is resources. Once we understand what is resources, we can understand why we need to plan resources. Then you'll understand what is planning, right? So what is planning? Why do we need planning? Planning is to get good results. Why all of you attended this particular webinar? Because you were planning to give your UPSC examination, civil service examination, maybe next year or maybe in 2022 or 2023, and you are planning for your success. Similarly, Indian economy, Indian government also plans. So those were 5-year plans. Although these were changed after Niti Aayog, we'll try to understand all those terminologies later. But I'm trying to tell you what is planning, why do we need plans, right? Once we read plans from 1947 till date, you will understand where we failed, you will understand where we succeeded, you will understand what we need to change. All these things you will have a clear idea and you will have a solid grip on this particular subject, especially Indian economy, right? So I hope you understood what is planning, why we need to understand plans. And before independence, there were few plans there were few plans like Bombay plan, Gandhian plan. All these plans also we'll try to understand as part of history. Just remember that planning from 1947 to till date. So what are the different institutions came in between? What is exactly planning? So now you will have a question, sir. It is all about 70 to 80 years of history. Do we need to remember all those numbers? Is it very difficult? I mean, will it not be difficult for us to remember all those numbers? No, I'll try to simplify them like this. So it's not me who simplified them. These are the government documents, and we at KSR IAS Academy also simplified many of those numbers for you, right? So if you can see that, we'll try to take plans. There is a planning commission. There were 5-year plans, and if you take one particular plan, this is the gist. So someone is saying voice is breaking. Can you please confirm my voice is good? Yes, no. Can you please put up that in chat? Someone is saying that my voice is breaking. Can someone say? Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Okay, I hope it is clear. Yes, thank you. So first plan, if you take up plans, we need to understand these are the different parameters. We'll try to understand what is the plan, what is the targeted growth, what is the targeted growth, what is the actual growth. So if there were 12 plans, all those plans will be simplified this way, and you need to understand this chapter will be completed in 1 hour for you. After completing the classes for your revision, it will be completed just in 1 hour. You just have to go through these particular facts, and you just have to follow this particular tabular columns. So in economy, there are 3 basic sectors. You know that primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Most of you students, young students, know that there are 3 sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector, right? You can also call otherwise agricultural sector, industrial sector, service sector. We'll try to understand those basics also. Though that is the major part of our syllabus, right? సో ఫస్ట్ ప్లాన్ లోకి వెళ్తాము. ప్లాన్ లో గ్రోత్ ఎంత ప్లాన్ చేసుకున్నాము, ఎంత వచ్చింది నేర్చుకుంటాము. అదే విధంగా అప్పుడున్న పరిస్థితులు ఏంటి, వాట్ ఈస్ హిస్టరీ, 1947 నుంచి 1951 నుంచి 56 వరకు ఏం జరుగుతోంది, ఎవరు ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్, ఎటువంటి పరిస్థితులు ఉన్నాయి. విల్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దాట్, రైట్? కాన్షియస్లీ విల్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దాట్. దెన్ సబ్ సెక్టర్స్ ఏ ఉన్నాయి, అగ్రికల్చర్ ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, ఇండస్ట్రీ ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, సర్వీస్ సెక్టర్ ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, రైట్? దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్ we try to see, right? So you understand theory, and this is where we conclude that particular topic. Then comes inflation. Inflation is very important topic. Most of the students will confuse that. So though I'll not be explaining about inflation because I have to explain so many things ahead. I have to show you what were the preliminary questions and what are the mains questions, and I'll try to I have to give you a strategy for that. So what is inflation? There are different instruments through which we calculate inflation. Again, inflation is another parameter. CPI, WPI, these are the 2 major instruments through which we calculate inflation. What is inflation? Do we inflate balloon? Have you ever tried inflating a balloon? The same way, inflation is just increase in prices of everything. Have you ever worried about why tomato prices were rising at a particular point of time? లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ మొబైల్ ఫోన్ 10,000 రూపాయలు తక్కువ ఉంది, ఈ రోజు మొబైల్ ఫోన్ 10,000 రూపాయలు ఎక్కువ ఎందుకు ఉంది? హ్యావ్ యు ఎవర్ క్వశ్చన్ why were laptops or vehicles cheaper last year and costlier this year? Have you ever worried? So this is inflation. These topics we'll try to understand here, and we'll try to understand what is consumer price inflation, what is wholesale price inflation. అంటే మీకు మామూలుగా ఒక సేల్స్ సప్లై చైన్ మెకానిజం లో చూసినట్లయితే ప్రొడ్యూసర్ దగ్గర నుంచి ప్రొడ్యూసర్, హోల్సేలర్, రీటైలర్, కన్స్యూమర్, ఇలాంటి స్టేజెస్ అన్ని ఉంటాయి మీకు తెలుసు. మరి ప్రొడ్యూసర్ దగ్గర ప్రైస్ ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ అయిందా, హోల్సేలర్ ప్రైస్ ఇన్ఫ్లేట్ చేశాడా, రీటైలర్ ప్రైస్ ఇన్ఫ్లేట్ చేశాడా, లేదంటే కన్స్యూమర్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చిన తర్వాత రీటైల్ మార్కెట్స్ లో ఇంక్రీజ్ అయిందా? సో వాటి కోసం డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి. హోల్సేలర్ దగ్గర అయితే WPI, కన్స్యూమర్స్ కి అయితే CPI. నౌ ఇప్పుడు మన గవర్నమెంట్ వాడికి వచ్చి CPI, right? We'll try to understand what is CPI, urban, rural, all those things in the later classes, right? So once we understand the typical meaning of inflation, once we understand the definition of inflation, we'll try to understand the effect of inflation on banks, our borrowers, our lenders, our exporters, our importers, all those parameters we'll try to understand. I'll try to take you to every point of reference possible, and I'll put you through all those references so that you can understand, visualize those things, because inflation is very important topic for preliminary examination. I see most of the students are making mistakes because of not having right subject in their hands or at their disposal, right? So once we complete inflation topic, again, we'll not leave the topic there. I'll try to bring it to the practical reality. I'll show you the reports, the latest reports possible. Here I have a, for demonstration, I have 12th Jan 2021 report. I'll take you through the report and I'll try to show you what exactly is the position, what is exactly the inflation, right? So this is how we end that particular chapter. Then so we have covered three important topics, three important chapters. Do you have any doubts here? Growth and development is one important, planning. The third one is inflation topic. So do you have any doubts here? Can you please say yes or no? Can you please say yes or no? Do you have any doubts till the third chapter? So I'm not explained. I just gave you overview of those particular topics. Thank you. Thank you, Nitin Krishna. Thank you, Kusum. Thank you, Muzamil. Thank you, Bharat Verma. Fine. We'll get into the next chapter, which is chapter 4, monetary policy in India. So there are two important policies which we need to understand: fiscal policy and monetary policy. So fiscal method, finances. Fiscal means finances. Monetary means money. So there is a basic difference between finances and money. So these are the two important policies which we need to read. సో మనీని ఒక ప్రోడక్ట్ గా చూసామనుకోండి, లెట్ us కన్సిడర్ మనీ యాజ్ ఎ ప్రోడక్ట్. మనీ సప్లై చైన్ చూడాలి కదా, మనీ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది, వేర్ దిస్ కరెన్సీ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ ప్రింటెడ్, వేర్ దిస్ కరెన్సీ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్. ఆర్బీఐ నుంచి వస్తా ఉందా, ఆర్బీఐ నుంచి బ్యాంక్స్ కి వస్తా ఉందా, బ్యాంక్స్ నుంచి వేరే ఏదైనా ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ కి వెళ్తూ ఉందా. సో విల్ ట్రాక్ ఆల్ దోస్ రూట్స్, విల్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ every single instrument there, and we'll try to understand every single institution there, right? So if we talk about monetary policy, it is all about monies. It is all about monies. MONIES, monies. When you talk about fiscal policy, it can be about finances. Tax is one financial mechanism. Most of the times fiscal policy, and most of the times in the world, in India especially, fiscal policy is controlled by the central government, and monetary policy is directly controlled by the central bank and indirectly by the central government. We will try to understand those things. What is fiscal policy? What is monetary policy? So when I mean monetary policy, you need to understand that how much money is there in the market. Have you ever worried that భారతదేశం మొత్తం కలిపి ఎంత కరెన్సీ ఉంటుంది, ఎంత కరెన్సీ ముద్రించాము, హౌ మచ్ కరెన్సీ ఇస్ దేర్, ఎంత కరెన్సీని ఆర్బీఐ నుంచి బ్యాంక్స్కి వస్తుంది, బ్యాంక్స్ నుంచి ఆర్బీఐకి వెళ్తుంది, లేదా బ్యాంక్స్ నుంచి ప్రజల దగ్గరికి వస్తుంది. సో హ్యావ్ యూ ఎవర్ వర్రీడ్ అబౌట్ దోస్ క్వశ్చన్స్? Those were the questions we'll try to understand here. There are different instruments here also, M0, M1, M2, M3, all those instruments. This is also very important topic for preliminary examination. So every year you will see, you have to understand one more point here. Most of the time students think that UPSC is unpredictable, but for Indian economy it is mostly predictable. For mains it is 100% predictable. For preliminary examination it is partially predictable, right? Because if you understand the syllabus, if you go through the syllabus, if you practice only in the limits of syllabus, you will definitely see a question there. So I'm talking about monetary policy, I'm talking about M1, M2, M3, another question will be there. Every year you have a question on inflation, every year you have a question on monetary policy, right? So we'll try to understand money supply, M1, M2, M3. Then we'll try to go back to RBI. We'll try to see what is monetary policy. We'll try to see what is interest rate per money, what is reserve ratio, what are the protection mechanisms. ఒకవేళ బ్యాంక్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత బ్యాంక్స్ మోసం చేసి వెళ్ళిపోతే ఏం చేయాలి, బ్యాంక్స్ డిఫాల్ట్ అయిపోతే ఏం చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి ఆల్ ఫ్యాక్చువల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఆల్సో విల్ ట్రై టు రీడ్ దేర్. Monetary policy is very important to understand money and supply of money in India, right? I hope you understood that. So next, the moment I spoke about money have to go through institutions. Once RBI ముద్రించిన తర్వాత డబ్బు, it has to go through different institutions. What are the different financial institutions we have? We have banks, we have insurance companies, we have microfinancial institutions at the bottom. We have different mechanisms like payment banks and small payment banks recently, and we have rural banks. We have NABARD, we have SIDBI, we have SEBI. All those are banks and financial markets. When we talk about stock markets, when we talk about gold markets, when we talk about bond markets, all these are financial instruments. We'll try to understand financial institutions. We'll try to understand financial markets. We'll try to understand financial instruments. These are the three things which we cover globally. We'll try to see what is the structure. Asal banks in India, what is the banking structure? What are the different types of banks?